Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This tutorial is part 1 of the Loved Up by Granny stitch set. I am so happy with how this turned out. I think this is the cutest thing ever. Of course I think that with all my stuff though. But all it is the granny stitch, which I'm going to explain why I use this yarn. The granny stitch, and the granny stitch is used throughout this whole set. The hat, the baby blanket, and the pillow. The booties is not, but that's all right. So the reason I used a Karen latte cake on this set, I decided it's time I need to destash my yarn. I have a lot of yarn and I need to move it. I need to get, no, I don't want to say get rid of it because I don't want to just simply get rid of my yarn, but I needed a project that I could just whip this out in no time and not have a problem with, like I can set and just get it done quick. And what's the stitch that everybody goes to when they have something to get done quick? The granny stitch. But I didn't want to do the granny square because everybody does a granny square when they have a project that you want to get done fast, right? I wanted to use the granny stitch but do something different. So that's when I decided that I was going to work the granny stitch, but not in a round or a square, from the bottom up. So that's how I came up with this pattern for this little cardigan, and for the baby blanket and the pillow and the hat, was by thinking granny stitch, not in a square or a circle, bottom up. So that's why I went with this. And also I needed something that I can do a tutorial on that's not going to be hard for you guys to understand what I'm saying. You don't necessarily have to see exactly what I'm doing. Me telling you, and you working with a different yarn, a different 4-weight, you know what I'm talking about by looking and listening to me, if that makes any sense. Anyway, sorry. All right, so I had 5 cakes of this Karen latte cakes, and it's in the color plum. I will say, I don't know if, yeah, you can see this on camera. All 5 cakes that I had the exact same dye lot, and throughout that Karen latte cake, it just randomly changed color. So you can see the strip in the center is a different color, and then you can see where the bodice of the dress and the sleeve starts, because it just randomly changed color. So that was highly frustrating. I was not happy with that, but what can you do, right? All right, so you are going to need 1 cake for your, oh no, let's talk about size first. I designed this to fit my mannequin that fits into 0 to 3 month Walmart baby clothes, the Granimal clothes. So I designed this to fit a 0 to 3 month using a 5mm. Now, when the very first one, because I had some prototypes, the very first one that I made, I used a 4mm, and that would have fit a newborn perfectly. It wouldn't fit on my 0 to 3 month mannequin. So if you want to make a smaller size, go down to the 4mm hook. And if you want to go from a 3 to 6 or a 6 to 9, I would jump up to a 6 or a 6.5mm hook, okay? It's just that simple with changing the size on this. I knew as soon as I got the first part of this done and put it on my mannequin, I thought, yep, that's too little. That's the size for a newborn. So 5mm hook, or I'm sorry, 4mm hook for a newborn, 5mm for a 0 to 3 month, and then if you want to go 3 to 6, 6 to 9, jump up to a 6.5mm, okay? You do not have to use a Karen latte cake. You can use any 4-weight yarn you want. I will say this thing is heavenly soft. Holy cannoli. It is soft. And okay, so I've got some embroidery floss to sew my buttons on, and I have, let's see, that's a 1/2 inch button. Well, no, it ain't. Probably 3/4 inch button. Yeah, I'd say just about a 3/4 of an inch button. You can use any size button you want to. It's just we do not add buttonholes. All right, we're just using the space between stitches as a buttonhole. So you want to make sure that your button will fit between your stitches. Okay. So I'd recommend a 3/4 inch button. 1/2 inch will work maybe, but I'd go 3/4 inch. And then of course you're going to need a needle that will fit through the holes of your buttons. So once you got your buttons picked out, then you're going to make sure you have a button, or I mean a needle that you can put right through the hole of that button. Okay. So then you're going to need your button, your needle, and then get you stitch marker, because you're going to need that. And then get the hook you need, scissors, and then get you a needle to weave in your ends. Trying to think. For the flower, I used Hirschner's worsted 8 in the color medium gray. And you don't have to use that. That's just what I used. You can use the same color yarn. You can not even put a flower on there. But also, so in my part 2 of this, which will be in the description box, the link will be to part 2 and part 3 will both be in the description box. I made a hat. Well, I already had one hat made from when I designed my set, so this hat matches the flower. But I also, in the tutorial, made a hat. So I decided I added 2 pom-poms to this hat just to make it different. So I ended up making a pom-pom that I can add to this, because this is just tied on. I did not sew it on. I just tied it on so it can be taken off, or it can be moved, it can be changed. And now that I did this, I can just untie that and tie on that pom-pom to match the hat. And I've got pom-poms for the booties. Okay. So if you want the pom-pom, you'll need a pom-pom maker. I'm trying to think. The embroidery floss. I used just embroidery floss that matched. We add the little lapel, right? That's a lapel, right? That fold. And go ahead and get you a tape measure. You may need one of those. And that's it. I mean, if I'm 90% sure I'm not forgetting anything. But, all right, that is it, guys. I'm sorry if you get through the tutorial and I'm like, oh, I'm using this. I completely forgot about it. All right. Get your supplies together and let's get started. Okay, so to get started, we are going to get a slip knot on our hook. And of course, as always, make sure you have enough tail to weave in. And we're going to start with a chain of 57. So I'm going to go ahead and get my chain done off camera so you don't have to watch me. Chain 57. I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got that chain of 57 done. And now we're going to double crochet into the 3rd chain from our hook. So you can see there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So we're going to double crochet into there. And then we're going to double crochet into each chain the rest of the way down. Alright, so again, I'm not going to make you watch me do this. So I'm going to pause and come back when I get to the end of my chain. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, so I made it down the chain. I have one more little bitty chain right there to work into. Tighten that up. Alright, and that is the end of row 1. So for row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to double crochet into the very first double crochet. double crochet into the next double, and then we're going to double crochet increase into the next double. Just like that. And that's what we're going to repeat across the row. Double crochet into the next, double crochet into the next, double crochet increase into the next, double, double, increase, double, double, increase. Okay, so you guys go ahead and repeat that along your row, and what's going to happen is it's going to start to look like a rainbow. So it was like just a straight row, but then now it's going to start looking like a rainbow, like that. All right, so double, double, increase, double, double, increase, double, double, increase. Work that all the way down, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so I made it to the end, and I have one double crochet left, and the chain 2 right there at the very beginning, which I realize it's a little hard to see, but that's not going to count as anything. We're just going to leave that alone. So in that very last double crochet, we're going to work that increase. All right, so you should have 72 double crochet. See how it's bowing now like a rainbow? Okay, so to move on to round 3, oops, about my camera, we are going to chain 1 and turn. And on this row, we're going to double crochet 3, then increase, 3, increase. So row 2, we did 2 doubles, then an increase, 2 doubles, and an increase. So for this row, row 3, we're going to work 3 doubles and an increase, 3 doubles and an increase. So to start, we're going to double crochet into that very first double crochet right in there, and then double into the next 2. And then increase into the next. And the double crochet increase is just to, I don't remember if I said it or not, but that's a double crochet increase is 2 doubles into 1 stitch, okay? So just so we don't get confused, or I don't confuse you guys, I should say. Okay, and that's what we're going to repeat across the row. Double crochet into the next 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then increase into the next double. Oops. All right, so repeat that across. Double into the next 3, increase into the next, double into the next 3, increase into the next, and repeat that across, and I will meet you when I get to the end. All right, so I've made it to the end of row 3, and then to that very last double crochet, I'm going to work my increase. And increase, not 1. All right, and that's the end of row 3. So to move on to row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn. And row 4, we're going to follow that same concept, but row 4, we're going to work 4 double crochets, then an increase. So just like before, we're going to double crochet into that very first double, double crochet into the next 3, so that's a group of 4. One, 2, 3, in that very first one. So there's 4, and then we're going to increase into the next. All right, double crochet into the next 4. Increase into the next. And that's what you're going to repeat across for row 4. And I forgot to say, row 3, you will have 90 double crochet, and then so at the end of row 4 we're going to have 108 double crochet. All right, and again you're going to end the row with an increase. Okay, so once again I'm going to get mine done off camera and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I'm coming to the end and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. So I just worked that increase, so it's going to get 4 double, and then we end in a decrease, or an increase. I'm tangled up on something. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the last one gets the increase. All right, that's the end of row 4. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and row 5, can you guess what we're going to do? We are going to work 5 double crochet, then increase. So 5 double increase, 5 double increase. So I'm going to double crochet right into that very first double. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Increase into the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Increase into the next. All right, so that's your repeat. 5 doubles, increase, 5 doubles, increase. It's about to make a circle. Well, yeah, it's pretty much making a circle. So at the end of row 5, you should have 126. Okay. All right, so I am going to get my row 5 done, and I'll be right back. All right, so I have made it to the end of row 5. I have to tell you guys, so you know, I work the rounds, pause the video, work off camera, resume video, you know, work with you guys, pause the video. Well, in between there, if I get a text message or a phone call, I can't go to that text message. I have to stop the video. So then I'll have like 3 or 4 of these little parts that I have to put together. And filming this evening, I have gotten a text or a phone call every 5 minutes while I'm trying to film this thing. So I apologize because I forgot what row we were on, but we're on row 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, last one gets the increase. There. Okay, so one more round of doing this. Row 6, I'm sorry. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to double crochet into that very first double crochet. And double crochet into the next 5. So that's a set of 6 double crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we got 6 doubles, and now we're going to increase into the next. And that's what we're going to repeat. Double into the next 6, increase, 6, increase, 6, increase. And you're going to repeat that across, but before you go, hold on just a second. At the very end, we're not going to work an increase. We're just going to work 1 double crochet into that very last double crochet, okay? So repeat your 6, increase, 6, increase, 6, increase all the way to the end. And then after you work the last increase, you double crochet into the last 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so you'll have an increase and then just double into the last 7, okay? All right, so at the end of this round, we should have 143, all right? So I'm going to get my row 6 done and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back and I want to say real quick, I don't know if it was in the last little before I paused, I opened my window and there's some birds chirping right outside the window, and one of them is quite loud. But anyway, so I just worked that increase. Now I'm just going to double into these last 7, and we should have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We should have 143 double crochet. And I did not write that down. All right, so we are done with the little collar part. So what we're gonna do, I'm just kind of show you guys the construction of what we got here. We have this overlapping circle, right? Like that. What we're going to do is we're going to work a few stitches, skip a bunch, work a few, skip a bunch, work a few, and what that's going to do is pinch it like that, and that's going to create a collar, and then this is going to be the shoulders where we make the armhole, and then we're going to come down with the body of the little jacket. So if yours looks like this, it's exactly what you want. Just an overlapping circle. All right, so we are done with that part, and we're going to make the little holes for the arm now. And to do that, we are going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to double crochet into the very first double. And then we're going to double crochet into the next 20. So I am going to... I'm going to go ahead and just do that off camera, just because I don't want you guys to have to watch me double crochet into 20 of my double crochets. Okay, so I'm going to get it done off camera and I'll be right back. All right, so I double crocheted into the next 20. So right here I have a group of 21 double crochet. The very first one and then the 20 we just did, so there's 21 doubles. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to get me a stitch marker, and we are going to count 30 double crochet because we're going to skip the next 30. So I'm going to count them off and then mark the 30th one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So I'm going to mark my 30th double crochet. And what we're going to do is we are going to come to the very next double crochet, and we're going to double crochet right into that. So we're going to let this fold up. So let it fold towards you and like pinch the piece together. And not the one we marked, but the very next one we're going to double crochet into. And I like to hold on to it and keep it somewhat tight so it doesn't get loose. Sorry. But that is our first armhole right there. Okay, so now we're going to double crochet into the next 40 double crochet. So you should have 41 double because we already have that one. So double into the next 40 double crochets, okay? So I'm going to get that done and I'm going to be right back. Okay, so I double crocheted into the next 40. So, and this is the back of the cardigan. So what I should have are 41 double crochets. Remember, because that very first one, and then I told you to do the next 40. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. Good deal. All right, so now we are going to count off our 30 for the next armhole. So I'm going to get myself another stitch marker and I'm going to count 30. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So mark that one. And we should have, fingers crossed, 21 double crochet left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Good deal. Give yourself a round of applause if you do. Hey, you know what? If you don't have 21 left, like if you, let's say you have 20, just move that stitch marker back one. Or let's say you have, you know, just move the stitch marker however many, or move it forward, move it back. Just as long as you have 21, if that's the most important part, you can always adjust the sleeve to whatever the pattern, how I've written the pattern. You can always just adjust that and change the armhole, just decrease in the armhole. Anyway, so count off your 30, and then we are going to lay it down, pinch it towards us, just like this, bring it together, don't go into the stitch, the double crochet with the stitch marker, just get that out of the way, double crochet into the very next one. Remember, I kind of do that one a little on the tighter side, and then double crochet till the end. The reason I do that double crochet on just a little bit tighter is so it kind of keeps it from looking too sloppy, which, I mean, nobody's ever going to look there to see if it looks bad, but that's just something I do. Mainly with this pattern. I mean, it's not necessary for most patterns. Most patterns there is a chain for your sleeve, but not this one. I wanted the double crochet. All right, I am just about there. I love this little cardigan because it's so easy to work up. And the more I'm filming this, the more I'm thinking I should have done this in solid colors, like regular Super Saver or Premier Yarn or something like that, just because this, you know, you're not going to see that cute granny stitch. But anyway, all right, that is the end of row 7, and this is what your piece should be looking like. It's so squishy. All right, so we are going to go ahead and move on to row 8. In row 7, you should have 83 double crochets. Of course, we're not counting the 30 that we skipped on each side, but 83 double crochets. All right, so we are going to go on to round 8. Now here's the thing. So this is how our piece is going to set. Row 7 double crochets should be facing you. When you have your piece laid out like this, row 7, the double crochets should be facing up. Well, when we go on to row 8, which is the first round of the granny shells, the double crochets are going to be facing on the body of the baby, and that's not what I want. So what we are going to do, we are going to chain 1 and pull up a loop, and we're going to cut. And then we're going to reattach so that the row, my scissors are sticky, so that the row with the first round of the first row of granny stitches, the double crochets are facing up and not towards the body. Okay, so let us get a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to reattach into the very first double crochet of round 7. So that very first double crochet right here, we are going to attach with a slip stitch into that. So go right in there with a slip stitch. I'm going to pull that tail down. I'll weave that in a minute. All right, now I'm going to chain 1. Okay, so we're going to go right back into that double crochet with a double. Chain 1, and then we're going to work 3 double crochet I think I've missed something. I think I missed something on my pattern. I wrote something wrong. All right, hold on just a second. I'm going to skim over this again because I think I wrote something wrong. Just a minute. No, I'm right. I wrote it right. So we worked a double, chain 1, and then we are going to work 3 double crochet into the very next double. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to chain 1, skip 2 double, and 3 double into the next. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. And that's what we're going to repeat all the way around. Skip 2, 3 double into the next. Chain 1, skip 2, 3 double into the next. Chain 1, skip 2, 3 double crochet into the next. All right, so I'm going to let you guys repeat that around. You see what I mean about the double crochet, us cutting and reattaching, how it just looks prettier with that first round of granny facing you instead of it being backwards facing the baby's belly. All right, so I'm going to repeat that all around. I'm going to go right across those double crochets in the armpit, come all the way around, and I will meet you when we get to the end right here. I will be right back. All right, so I have repeated that around, and I worked my last granny shell. I chained 1, I'm going to skip 2 and double crochet into that very last double crochet right there. Just like that. And you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 granny shells. Oh, good. That's what I had wrote down. I don't know why, but this row, so for those of you that don't know, let me show you how my little process goes. So I design something, right? And I write it down, and then I mess it up, and I scribble it out. I'm just going to show you for a minute. And then I write it down, and I mess it up, and I scribble it out. Well, then once I finally get my pattern ready, and then my design is ready to be, my little prototype is ready to be torn apart, and then I remake it on camera. So it's nice and ready to go on camera. Well, sometimes my scribble, I get a little confused on what I wrote down. And I went to go write my final draft before I made the cardigan on camera. So I get a little confused, like, wait a minute, is that right? Did I mess that up? I didn't. I had it right. I was just overthinking it. Okay, so let's move on to row 9. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to double crochet into that very first double crochet, and into that very first chain 1 space we're going to work 2 double crochet. So what that did was gave us our first little granny shell of row 9. Okay, so get back in there. So now we're going to chain 1, granny shell into the next chain 1 space. And for the purpose of this pattern, I'm just saying granny shell, the 3 double crochet, chain 1, granny shell into the next chain 1 space. Get some slack, and that's what you're going to repeat across. Just one granny shell into each, for Pete's sake, into each chain one space. And chain one. All right, so I am going to repeat this around, and when I come back, I'll be at the end of round 9, okay? So I'm going to get this done and I'll be right back. Okay, so I repeated that around for round 9, and I worked my granny shell right here, chain 1, and now wiggle your fingers in there, and there's that chain 1 space. We're going to work 2 double in there, and then the very last double goes into that double crochet. So if you just rotate it a little bit, you'll see the top, and then there's our last granny shell. All right, so to go on, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to work row 10. So row 9 and 10 are the rows we're going to repeat. So row 10, we're going to double crochet into that very first double crochet right there. Chain 1, and then right into that chain 1 space, we're going to work our granny shell. Chain 1, granny shell into the next chain 1 space. So the only difference is the way row 10 begins and ends, from the difference between 9 and 10. All right, so you're going to chain 1, granny shell into each chain 1 space, chain 1 all the way around. Oops. Just like that. All right, so go ahead and repeat that around, and I am going to get mine done off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished. I'm coming around to the end of round 10, and I worked my granny shell into that last chain 1 space. So to end row 10, we're going to chain 1 and double crochet into that very last double. And if you turn your work just a tad bit, you can see right there, there's that double crochet. So I'm going to double crochet right into there. All right, so that is the end of round 10. So what we're going to do is repeat row 10, 9 and 10, 9 and 10. So I'm going to write this down on camera for you guys. We're going to go from row 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Row 11, you're going to repeat row 9. Row 12, repeat 10. 13, repeat 9. 14, repeat 10. 15, repeat 9. 16, repeat 10. And then you're going to end on row 9. Okay? So if you need to, the only difference is how you start the row. Row 9, you double crochet into that first double, and then you work 2 doubles into that first chain 1 space to create that first granny square, and then you chain 1, granny shell, I should have said, chain 1, granny shell into the chain 1 space, chain 1, granny shell all the way around, and then you end it the same way. Row 10, you double crochet into the first double, chain 1, jump over into that next chain 1 space, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet around, and then you end the same way, and just repeat 9 and 10, 9 and 10. All right, so I'm going to get my rows done off camera, and when I come back, I will be done with row 17. All right, so get your 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 done, and I will meet you at the end of row 17. All right, I will be right back. All right, so I just finished round 17. So we are going to chain 1, pull up a loop, and we're going to fasten off. Now, if you want yours to be the granny stitch to go longer, that's perfectly fine. Just keep repeating rounds 9 and 10. So, I have to tell you guys, I am highly aggravated right now because in the middle of my yarn, it changed colors. It's well, I don't know if you can even see it on camera, but it's all the same color here. It's a darker purple, and then it just changed to this light purple, and then now it's back to dark purple. Ugh. Anyhow, okay, so I'm just not even gonna let it bother me, just gonna move on. All right, so since we've gotten that done, I'm gonna go ahead and stop and get these ends weaved in, and when I come back, we're gonna work our sleeves. So go ahead and you guys can take a break and weave in your ends, and yeah, then we're gonna get these 2 sleeves done, work a collar and then a little border around the neck, and we're done. So, well, this went quick. All right, so I will be right back. All right, I am back and I got all my ends weaved in, and I went ahead and made my first sleeve. So we are going to make, oh, excuse me, our second sleeve. So I'm gonna get, well, where is my tail? Oh boy. Okay. Okay, finally found it. So we're gonna get a slip knot on our hook. And with the little cardigan facing us, so there's the opening, I'm gonna turn it to where the armhole is facing me, just like this. And you can see, let me get, oop. So this is a double crochet that we skipped. So this is the top of I don't want to say the first double, but the top of a double. And then all the way around is the top of doubles. And then if you look, you can see right here is the last top of a double. And then the rest right here are the doubles that we worked into for row 8, right? So what we are going to do is we're going to attach into the bottom of the arm, like the armpit area, to the back of the hole. So as we're going to work this way around, but we're going to start to the back of the bottom of the double crochets. So I'm going to just pick up, I'm going to leave that stitch marker there. And I want to insert in front of it. Get that needle out of the way. I'm going to insert in front of it, attach with a slip stitch, chain 1, and I'm going to work 3 double crochet decreases before I get to my first double crochet right there, okay? So here's my double crochets, beginning and end right there, and I'm going to attach here with, that way I can work the double crochet decreases across the bottom of those doubles right there. So I'm just going to go in wherever I can go. There's 1 decrease. And for those of you, I should have started with this, but a double crochet decrease, you yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go in another spot, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 3. So that was the second one. We need 1 more before we get to that first double crochet. So I'm just going to go in where I can and work a decrease. So there's 3 decreases right here. So now I'm going to take this stitch marker out, and I'm just going to go ahead and mark that first one just so it's easier to see. And now we're going to double crochet into each double around the arm. So if you look, right there is that first double. So I'm going to double into that and then double crochet into each double, which would be 30 because this is the 30 double crochet we skipped in round 7. Yeah. No, was it round? I don't remember which round it was. I think it was. All right. Oop. Just gonna keep working this around the armhole, and I will be right back. All right, so I made it around. I'm going to double crochet into my last double. And that's the end of round one. So to end round one, we're going to slip stitch to that first double crochet decrease. And then round two, we're going to chain one, and we're going to double crochet decrease over the very first two. So the one we just slip stitched into, and then the second half of the decrease goes into the second or the next decrease. And then double crochet into each double until the last two double crochet of the round. So you're just double crochet all the way until the last two double crochets. All right, so I will get that done. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've double crocheted around and I'm to the last two double crochet of my round. So I'm going to work the decrease over the last two. And we're slip stitch to the first decrease, and that's the end of round two. Now for round three, we're going to repeat round two again. So we're going to chain one. The first part of the decrease is going to go right back into the decrease that we just slip stitched into, and the second part goes into the next one. And now we're going to double crochet into each double crochet until the last two stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and double crochet around and meet you when I get to those last two double crochet. Okay, I repeated that around and I have two stitches left, a double, and then that's a decrease. So I'm going to decrease over these last two. And slip stitch to my first one, which is right there. And we are going to repeat round two one more time. So we're going to chain one, decrease over the first two. So the first part of the decrease goes right back into where I slip stitched, and the second part goes into the second double, and then double crochet until the last two stitches. So I will meet you when I get back here again. Okay, so I made it to the last two stitches, and there is my last double, and then that's a decrease. So I'm going to decrease over these last two. And slip stitch to my first, and that was round four, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay, so for round 5 to round 10, we're going to chain one and work one double crochet into each stitch all the way around. So all we're doing is just working one double crochet into each double and decrease all the way around. So we're going to do that for round 5, which we just started. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So once you guys get your 10th round done, come back here and we will do the last round of the sleeve. Okay. So off camera, I'm going to do my round, or my round 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm just going to double crochet around, slip stitch to the first, chain one, double crochet into each around, slip stitch to my first, chain one. Repeat all the way around. Okay. All right, I'm going to get mine done real quick and I will be right back. All right, so I just finished round 10. I double crocheted into the last double. I'm going to make sure I did, because now that I said it, I was like, wait a minute, was that 10? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, good. Okay, so now we are just going to slip stitch to that first double crochet, and for the last round of the sleeve we're going to chain one, and half double right back into that double we slip stitched into, and then work 1 half double into each double crochet around. Pretty simple. I'm just gonna go ahead and stay with you guys, but once we get this sleeve done, I am going to stop my video, weave in my ends, and we are going to start on the border or the collar. I'm not 100% sure yet. And then after that, we have a hat. And well, no, I'm sorry. After that, I'm going to show you guys how to make this little flower that I made. And use that as like the little embellishments on the booties, on the hat, on the on this cardigan. So just about there. I debated whether using that little flower on the hat and everything, but I think it looks great. All right, so now I have stitched half double crocheted all the way around. I'm going to slip stitch to that first half double, chain 1, pull up a loop, and we are done with our sleeve. That is it. So now I'm going to back you guys up just a little. My bag of buttons. There is our sleeves. And I cannot even tell you guys how frustrated I am right now with the color change in this Karen latte cake. And the reason I say that is because I can see this chunk is one color, this chunk is one color, and the sleeves are a completely different color. Okay, anyway, it's not a big deal. It's just aggravating to me. All right, so after we get the ends weaved in and we get the border and the collar, what we have is a V-neck. It's going to stay in a V-neck, but what we're going to do is add the little buttons. Right in there, so it overlaps right here. Well, it overlaps here, starting there, and it's a little. Is this what? That's what they call a matinee jacket, right? Is that what the? I don't know. Anyway, okay. I am going to get my ends weaved in, and when I come back, we're gonna move on to the next. It's probably gonna be just a little border and then the collar. I don't know yet. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna get these ends weaved in, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got all those ends weaved in, and we're going to start with the collar. So I'm going to get another slip knot on my hook. And with the front of the little cardigan in front of me, I'm going to attach into the top corner right there. Actually, that's the very first chain right there. So I'm going to attach there right into the remaining loops from the beginning chain with a slip stitch, chain 1, and we are going to work a double crochet into there. And then we're going to double crochet into each of the remaining loops from the beginning chain across. So all you need to do, this part, it can get a little confusing, but you can see the posts of the doubles. See those posts? All I'm going to do to work my next double is yarn over, look for the post, and I can see it right there. And I'm just going to put my hook right at the tip and push. And all that's doing is just pushing the head of my hook through the remaining loops of that beginning chain. Right like that. Yarn over, find the next one, put the back of my hook right where the legs are, and push through. And there you go. All right, so go ahead and work 1 double crochet all the way around the neck opening, the beginning chain actually, and I'll meet you when we get to this end, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so I made it to the other side. Now what we have right here is the double and then the chain 2. Remember, the chain 2 doesn't count as anything. So I'm just going to work 1 double crochet into this last chain. All right, now we are going to chain 1 and we're going to turn, and we're going to work 1 double crochet back across. So just work 1 double into each of your doubles, okay? Oop. All right, I will meet you on the other side. Okay, so I've made it back to the other side. I have 2 more to work into. There's my last one. All right, now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and now we're just going to work 1 half double crochet into each double. So into the very first and into each of the double across. And that is going to be the last round of our collar. So I'm going to go ahead and work this and meet you at the other end. All right, so I've made it across. I've got 2 doubles left, so I'm going to go ahead and half double into the last 2 doubles. And that's it. Chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. And there is our collar. So now I'm going to get these ends weaved in. I don't know what that is right there, why that is there, but anyway, I'm going to get these ends weaved in, and then we're going to work a border and add some embellishments, and we'll be done. Okay, I got those ends weaved in. So now what I'm going to do is, with our cardigan facing us, so the opening is facing us, I'm going to turn it so where the right flap is facing me, and we're going to attach into that top right corner all the way to the top. So get a slip knot, and as always, make sure you got enough end, enough tail to weave in. All right, and with the slip stitch, I'm going to attach into the top right corner. I'm just going to go right around that half double crochet that's right there. Chain 1, and we're going to work single crochets all the way down the side. Just space out, evenly space out single crochets down the side. I'm not doing anything fancy or going into any certain area, just going where it's oh, what am I doing? Just going to where it's nice and evenly spaced. Dun, 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 dun. Actually going to stop and look at it. It's not going to be straight because remember the top up here is a little in from the bottom, but it's not warping any. So I'm just going to keep single crocheting down. I kind of stretched. I'm gonna let it go. All right, and just keep single crocheting. Just about to the corner. I'm gonna go as far as I can go on this corner. One more right in the edge. And now I'm gonna chain 2, rotate, and I'm going to double crochet into, well, I'm going to call that chain 2 the first double, and then I'm going to double crochet into the chain space, double crochet into each double, double into the chain space, and that's what I'm going to work all the way across the bottom. One double into each chain space and one double into each double. All right, so go ahead and double crochet around this bottom, and I'll meet you when we get back to this end. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've made it all the way around the bottom. I have 2 double crochets left to double crochet into. One right there on the corner, and now I'm going to chain 2, oh excuse me, rotate again, and now evenly space out single crochets. Just stopping to look to see. That is pretty. All right. Go ahead and keep single crocheting. Yeah. Sorry for the silence, guys. I thought for sure I could get through this faster than I am. I just realized I'm still filming. Oops. Just about there. All right, now I'm just going to slip stitch to the first single crochet of the collar, chain 1, cut, ta-da! Take that out. And here is our little jacket. Now, when you lay it down right, one of your flaps should overlap the other. And what we're going to do, we're going to attach our buttons. I like it this way better. Well, I can't pick up the, there, I got it. Just like that. And then you got the flaps open at the top. Okay, so, let's see. So we didn't create a buttonhole, but all we're going to do is use the spaces between the grannies to, use as our buttonholes. See, so that's why I said to make sure you have a button that'll fit between your chain space. I'm just gonna space them out where I like them. I need to get over the top of it just a second. Okay. Just like that. Perfect. Ow! I just hit my hand. That hurt. All right. Let me see. I want to sew the buttons on, but I don't want to use white thread because the white is going to stand out so much against the purple buttons and the purple jacket. So I think what I'm going to do is find some purple embroidery floss and use that to sew my buttons on. So I am going to pause this and go dive into my embroidery floss stash and see if I can't find some purple. So I will be right back. Okay, so I found this embroidery floss and I think it's going to be good enough, I'm going to say. but I'm just going to sew these on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap my flaps, right? And then I'm going to put the bottom button where I want the bottom to go. Now there's a hole right there where that I'm going to use as my buttonhole, okay? So lay it out. I'm going to put it right over that button, that hole, and I'm just going to push it through, and right there is where I'm going to sew it onto this flap right there. So I'm going to get a long strand of embroidery floss. Well, I'm trying not to tangle it, but I'm doing nothing but, there, I got it. All right. Oh, there's, it just came off. All right, well, anywho, I am going to sew this right there. I think that is going to be enough. Probably way more than enough, but that's all right. And come in on this side. And now I'm just going to keep going back and forth, back and forth. And I'm holding it nice and tight so that button doesn't move. I want it to stay right where it's at. I like that embroidery floss, that looks nice. All right, so now I'm going to stop, bring this back, and button it through the hole. Look how cute. Perfect. All right, so now I'm going to cut here. I'm going to tie these two ends. And snip. Okay, so there's my first button. Now I'm not going to do my middle button. I'm going to do my top button, and then I've got all this space right here to do that middle button. But I'm going to do my top next. Let's see. Give me another strand of embroidery floss. Now I'm just going to, what I'm doing now is just lining everything up above me. Or, I mean, me looking down at it. I'm going to go ahead and put that middle button where I want it, right there. So that means I want it about there. Now I hope there's a hole there for a buttonhole. Yeah, there is, right there. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. All right, so I'm going to put it back, and now I'm just going to push it through and let it set right there. I'm going to go ahead and unbutton this bottom one. I don't know where I put my needle and my embroidery floss. All right, so I'm going to set it. I'm going to get a good hold on it and start sewing it. I've got way too much embroidery floss. That's all right. Just making sure my buttonholes are straight. Man, this little yarn needle has got a sharp tip. Uh-oh, get out of there. There. All right, I think I can go one more time because I got kind of tight. right. I've got some of the fluff in there. I used to have a pair of tweezers set in here, but I don't think I have them anymore. But I will get a pair of tweezers and, well, I think I can get it right there. Yeah, got it. There. All right, now I'm going to cut these ends and knot them off nice and tight. One more time. Take it all the way and snip. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I should have weaved in my ends before I started this. That's all right. All right. So I am going to button this. I'm so happy with it. I don't think that's going to lay the way I wanted it to. Dang it. That's all right. Well, maybe I could weave in the ends right here. I am a genius, you guys. Sorry. All right. Last button. I'm going to look at it from the top down. Oh no, don't turn. There. I want this to go about right in. Oh, that was too high. Too much of a perfectionist, you guys. There. I want it to go right in there. Is there a hole? No, not really. Yeah, right there. Right there. Set right there. All right. So don't move. Unbutton this. Unbutton this. All right, so that button is going to go right there. All right, one more time. My stomach just growled. I guess the little white eyelashes on the latte cake that I've got in the embroidery floss and the button kind of adds a little bit to the matching of the button. Does that make sense? The matching of the button to the yarn. All right, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna do it one more time and I'm gonna call it good. Right there. All right. I'm gonna cut. Okay. And snip. And so you lay it over, and the buttonholes are right over, where's this button? Oh, right over the buttons. Well, it was there. Ta-da! That looks great. Super happy with that. Okay, so now I want this collar to lay down like this. So I'm actually gonna just weave the end of the it's getting late. I'm gonna weave my tails into the actual body of the cardigan. Right through there. All I did was just laid it down, and where the point hit is where I went. Come back. And the cool thing is, with this latte, you cannot see it. Oh, it's cute. All right, lay this one. Just right where it's laying. Take it through the legs of the doubles. And cut. Ta-da! All right, now we are gonna make this little flower to add to the corner of the little cardigan. All right, so I am going to use my gray scraps, which is what is that? It's a Hirschner's, was it? I got the skein right here. It is Hirschner's Worsted 8. And it is medium gray. Okay, so I've got some scrap right here where I tried to make a different flower and I didn't like it. So I'm just going to work off of my messed up flower. And I'm going to use my 4mm hook. Oh, as soon as I find it. Okay. Oops. Sorry about that. All right, we are going to get a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to start with a chain of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Slip stitch to the first chain to form a ring. All right, I'm going to tighten up that first chain. Chain 1, and we're going to single crochet right back into there. Sorry, the squeak. I'm trying to stop it. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. All right, so we chained 1, single crochet back into the ring. Now we're going to work a half treble. So we're going to yarn over twice, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops left on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Which this yarn is very splitty. So of course, but that's the half treble. I'm going to do it one more time. Yarn over twice, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 3 remaining. And now we're going to work 2 treble. So the treble, and then 1 more. And now we're going to work that half treble again. And then we're going to come all the way down and single crochet. just like that. And that's the first petal. So we're going to work 6 petals. So we're going to have to scoot everything as you go. So to start the next petal, we are going to work a half treble, 2 treble, one half treble. Oops, that was 1 yarn over. Scooch everything over and single. There's the second petal. So start the next one, 1 half treble, two treble, and I'm working these pretty tight, and then 1 half treble, and come back down for a single, and then scooch all that over. So there's 3. All right, so we start with the half treble, 2 treble, one half treble, come all the way down for a single. So there's 4. Scooch it all over. We're gonna half treble, two treble, one half treble, and single. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need one more flower, or I mean petal. All right, so I'm going to half treble, 2 treble, and 1 half treble, and I'm going to slip stitch to that first single crochet. Chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. There is our little flower. So now I'm going to take my needle, and this back tail, I'm going to run it around. So like I can tell the way it's coming out, it's already went all the way around and it's coming out right there. I'm going to go ahead and make another pass around through these legs. Whew, this yarn, let me tell you, I may not make it all the way around. It's tight. Anyway, okay, I'm going to stop here, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a tug. I don't want to completely close in that ring. I'm just going to let it close around like the pad of my thumb. And then I'm going to come back just to lock the stitches down from moving. And cut. All right, now this one, I just realized I didn't want to cut that. Oops. Dang it. All right, so this other tail, I'm just going to bring it down the back of the stitches and leave it like that, because what I wanted to do before I accidentally just cut that tail, I'm going to go ahead and just add another tail here. What I wanted to do was have a tail on each side of the flower and use that to sew, or I mean to tie on the flower, and then when you wash it you can just take the flower off. But yeah, you can attach it however you want to. But I'm gonna come just right across here And I'm gonna put this tail in here. Bring it back. There. And go one more time just to secure it. And cut. There, now I've got my two tails on opposite ends. All right, now I'm gonna bring in my cardigan, and you can attach your flower however you want to, but I wanted to be able to take the flower off, so that's why I was gonna use the tails to sew it on. But anyway, so set the flower where you want it on your cardigan, and I'm gonna come in through the purple on one side and do the same thing with the other tail on this side. So I'm just going to come in here with my two ends and tie it in a knot, or tie it in a bow so it can be taken off. Tie the ears in a knot, just like that. And there you go. Ta-da! There's your cardigan. Oh, I'm so happy with it. It's so cute. Okay, so while I have you here, go ahead and make another flower with your 4mm hook, because we are going to put that on our the little hat we're gonna make. So go ahead and just make another flower, and then what I want you to do is make two more flowers using a small as hook as you can go. So I don't have a 3mm, so I just went to a 2.75mm, and I made these really little flowers, and that's what I'm gonna put on the side of the booties. Okay, or what we are going to put on the side of the booties. So go ahead and make another one for your hat, which I cannot find the one that I had made before. Oh, here it is. We're going to put one on the hat and then one on the side of the booties. So I've already got mine made. For the small one, work a chain of 12. Don't work 8. You're never going to get all those stitches into that tiny little chain 8. Just work a chain of 12, okay? So yeah, go ahead and get your flowers done, and when you come back, we are going to, actually, I'm going to end this. This is going to be the end of part 1. How's that? In part 2, we're going to make the booty and the hats, and then in part 3, the blanket and the pillow. How's that, okay? All right, so I'm going to end this here. This is the end of part 2, so subscribe if you haven't. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed. And when you hit subscribe, make sure you turn on all the notifications. So you just poke that little bell, then it's going to give you a little drop down box, and then you click notify all, okay? Yeah, so that you're going to get notified for everything. All right, so that is the end of part 1. In part 2, we are going to do our hat and booties. In part 3, we're going to make the baby blanket and the pillow. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the greatest. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.